You're listening to As Read by Me, the podcast where writers read and readers listen.
Hi, this is Bill Rausch. This is a story titled The Picker, as read by me. Clayton grew up on a patch of worthless red dirt in Alabama. His old man split when Clayton, the oldest of 7, was only 10. By the time he was 14, his disgust for his no-account sperm donor dad was so intense he despised all authority. Teachers, police, even his ma. So he dropped out of school. Then his ma, struggling to raise her other 6 kids halfway proper, kicked him out of the house. It wasn't long and he fell in with a gang of hoodlums. Oh, it was small-time stuff at first. Mom and pop quickie marts, snatching old ladies' purses. Yeah, even home break-ins with cheap stereos and cheaper jewelry. And just like that sperm donor dad, 14-year-old Clayton started drinking. 10 years, the judge shouted. 10 years for his first and last bank job. Clayton was only 22, and he didn't know it at the time, but those 10 years would be the most instrumental 10 years of his life. Literally instrumental. No, damn it. Clayton, the 5th fret. You ain't never gonna get this chord right if you don't do no practice. Snooky Johnson was doing life for manslaughter. The cons in the day room chuckled when they heard Snooky's cigarette cough, cussing Clayton every afternoon, trying to teach him how to pick the chords, how to bend the strings like B.B. King. Well, after 2 years with Snooky, Clayton, he finally had it. All those hours in the day room picking and bending, they finally paid off. Snooky leaned back and took a drag off his camel. Clayton was as good a picker as any he'd ever heard. Hell, maybe even better than himself. When Clayton got out early for good behavior, he wasn't too sure what he'd do. With no skills or education to get even a halfway decent job, Clayton did the only thing he was really good at. He took his guitar out to the street and he played. Well, he pretty much drank up whatever quarters and dimes folks tossed in his hat. But then, one night, sipping whiskey all alone in a honky-tonk, the bartender walked over. Clayton, you'll see how empty this damn joint is? Guitar player just up and quit last week. Walked out on me. And I need me a new one. You gotta keep them whiskey drinkers coming back, you know. So, you interested? Well, it wasn't long, and Clayton indeed got 'em back, picking the blues every night. With his tip jar always full and whiskey shots lined up by the teary-eyed drinker, oh, life was good. Clayton's picking helped those lost souls. It helped them to cling to their faded memories, reliving the days when their lives were still filled with hope. It was raining that Saturday morning when the landlady called 911. She had gone upstairs to check on Clayton when he didn't come down for his coffee. 31 years of whiskey and honky-tonk smoke finally caught up with poor Clayton. The EMTs didn't even bother with their siren. Hey, you can't just walk in here. Stop right there, Clayton. St. Peter looked up from his book and shook his head at the old blues man. I've been reading your page. We got no room up here for the likes of you. Clayton just stood there, looking back at the bearded gatekeeper. Then, without a word, he turned to leave, his guitar slung over his shoulder. He had hoped, even prayed those rare times that he went to church, that folks up here wouldn't be so quick to judge a man. Hold on there, good and faithful servant. Clayton turned around. What the fuck? Don't you say that word you're thinking. God was smiling. Then he looked over at St. Peter. Hey, Pete, isn't it about time for your coffee break? Well, St. Peter might have been judgmental, but he wasn't stupid. He knew when the boss wanted to be alone. After he was gone, God turned to Clayton. I've been watching you a long time, Clayton, playing your guitar in that smoky honky-tonk for my damaged children. Clayton just looked down. Oh, he was afraid of what was coming next. Then God raised his mighty arms and wrapped them around Clayton. Come, walk with me, my child. Play me some blues, Clayton. I'm about fed up with all that organ music.
Thanks for joining us. If you're listening on a podcast app, please hit the subscribe button to be notified when we release future episodes. For more information about the podcast and the authors, visit asreadbyme.com. You can also find us on Twitter, and you can stream video versions of the show on YouTube and Rumble. If you're a writer and would like to read something on an upcoming episode, send an email to writers@asreadbyme.com.